We recessed this case a couple days ago on the 19th. Mr. Nowak, you were going to meet with your client, and I think he was going to sign a relinquishment. So has that happened at this point in time?
We filed the signed, witnessed, and notarized relinquishment at 4:03 on the 19th, Judge.
All right, very good. Mr. Alley, you want to recall Ms. Ring?
Yes, Your Honor, please.
All right, and since we are here on another day, we'll go ahead and I'll just announce who's present. Mr. Alvey's present for the department. Mr. Morales is the child's attorney and guardian ad litem. He's present. Ms. Archer is not present since we proved up the relinquishment that her client had signed on the 19th, and I excused her from having to appear today. And Mr. Nowak is present on behalf of Mr. Gonzalez, but Mr. Gonzalez is not present. Okay. All right. Ms. Ring, you're still under oath.
Mr. Ring, as the St. Francis Ministries Permanency Specialist, are you aware that Juan Gonzalez, the father to Miguel, recently executed and had filed an affidavit of relinquishment of his parental rights?
Yes.
And you did not force or pressure Mr. Gonzalez into signing that affidavit?
No.
As far as you know, no one else put any undue pressure on him to sign that affidavit?
No.
His lifestyle has not changed significantly since the child was removed from his care?
That's correct.
He still has some issues with substance abuse?
Yes.
It would not be safe to return the child to him at this time?
No, it would not be.
The child is in a permanent, stable home that we testified to on the 19th?
Yes.
You believe it's in the child's best interest for Mr. Juan Gonzalez's parental rights to be terminated at this time?
Yes.
And are you asking if the court goes ahead and terminates both mom and dad's parental rights based upon the affidavits of relinquishment, that the department be named as permanent managing conservator, or do the Tyrees want to be named as permanent managing conservators?
The Tyrees want to be named permanent managing conservators.
And they're present today, correct?
Yes, they are.
So at this time, if the court agrees and makes the Tyrees the permanent managing conservators, then you're asking that the department and St. Francis Ministries be dismissed from this case?
Yes.
I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Nowak, you have any questions?
No questions, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Morales?
No question, Judge. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm having the issues, but my connection's kind of spotty.
We can hear you. Okay.
Okay. No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. And Mr. Alley, you have anything further?
I would call Miss Tiffany Tyree briefly, Your Honor.
All right. You may proceed.
Miss Tyree, you are one of the two folks who are currently placement from Miguel.
Yes, sir.
You and Lindsay, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you and Lindsay wish for to be placed in your home on a permanent basis?
Yes, sir.
You actually have Miguel's sibling in your care also?
Yes, sir.
And you've had Miguel for quite some time now?
Since the beginning of July, yes, sir.
And you're comfortable having Miguel in your home? Y'all are comfortable raising Miguel and being named permanent managing conservators of this child at this time?
Yes, sir.
Is it y'all's position that you will eventually be seeking adoption on this child?
Yes, sir. Of both the boys.
And you believe that it's in the best interest of Miguel at this time for you to be named permanent managing conservator?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Nowak, any questions?
No questions. Just congratulations. Best wishes and Merry Christmas, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Mr. Morales?
Likewise, no questions. Just to thank you for what you're doing for both of these boys. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. The court will concur and agree and thank the Tyrees for everything that they've done, and I hope this all goes very smoothly and very quickly for you.
Thank you.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Abbey?
No, Your Honor. We'll rest.
Okay. Mr. Nowak, you rest.
Rest and close, Judge.
All right. Mr. Morales?
Rest and close, Your Honor.
All right, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe that it's in Miguel's best interest that the parental rights of Juan Gonzalez be terminated, Your Honor. I also believe that it is in his best interest that the parental rights of Amber Robertson be terminated, Your Honor, and that his placement continue with the Tyrees. They've done a great job, and I am positive that they will keep these boys safe and well bonded and together. So that's my recommendation, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, at this time, then I do find by clear and convincing evidence that it is in the best interest of the child to terminate the parental rights between the child and his mother, Amber Rachel Robertson, and his father, Juan Gonzalez, based on their voluntary affidavits of relinquishment of parental rights under Texas Family Code 161.001B1K, and the best interest of the child under 161.001 subsection B2. At this time, I also find it's in the best interest of Miguel to name Lindsay and Tiffany Tyree as the permanent managing conservator of the child. And at this time, I'll dismiss the Department of Family and Protective Services and all court-appointed attorneys from the case. That would include Mr. Morales, you as the child ad litem at this point in time, since they're going to pursue a private adoption, or at least that's my understanding. So, everybody else is dismissed and discharged. And again, thank you all so much for what you're doing. And I hope you all have a great Christmas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Merry Christmas.
Y'all do the same. Merry Christmas.
By telephone from his unit.
Okay, yeah, there's we've got one. It's a local number though.
Yeah. It's an 806 number.
Okay, all right. We have someone on the phone in the waiting room, so she'll verify that it's him.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Vince, how are you?
So far, so good. The judge just reminded me this is the shortest daylight day of the year, and it made me extra happy. I love these days.
I have a lot going on today. My kiddo graduates from Police Academy in 2.5 hours.
Congratulations.
Yep. Today is my fiance's birthday.
Again, happy birthday to your fiance.
My anniversary.
Today's
Congratulations, Jay, and happy anniversary.
happy anniversary. Today's a big day.
Yeah. And it's the winter solstice, so you can't beat that.
Yeah, my pastor the other day in his sermon said, December 21st is the darkest day of the year. And I looked at my fiance and I'm like, explains a lot.
My Scandinavian ancestors would be burning lots of logs tonight and drinking.
All right, we are here for review hearings in each case. We're conducting these through Zoom. We are live streaming and Ms. Taylor is making our record. Okay, I just had Marvell Collins log in. Is she here for this case? Or
She's probably supervisor of the day, I would imagine.
okay. All right, then we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Melinda Powell for the Department of St. Francis Permanency Specialist. Today is Michelle Slagle.
Vince Nowak on behalf, subbing in for Bill Taylor on behalf of Crystal Rodriguez, and that client is not present, but also representing Jorge Bolanos. Mr. Bolanos is on the phone, and we're ready. Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Nowak, you're not. Mr. Michelson has Ms. Rodriguez.
You know what? God, I've got the dad. I've got the dad.
You're subbing for Mr. Vallejo.
I'm so sorry. Saul Vallejo. I knew that, Judge. I knew that.
It's okay. It's all right.
Thank you.
Jay Michelson on behalf of Crystal Rodriguez. I'm present. Ms. Rodriguez is not present.
Gary Morales on behalf of respondent father Randall Candelaria, Your Honor. Last I was aware he was incarcerated in New Mexico. I've written him. I have not received a response, but I am ready.
Stacey Zavala on behalf of the kids.
All right. Thank you. So what do we have new since the court report was filed?
There's nothing new since the court report was filed, except for I did see on Mr. Bolano's parole review that it was denied in October of 27. But it also says that his review is March 11th. So I don't know if he'll have another one in March. I really don't understand how that works, but that's the only new information that has been since the court report.
All right. Thank you. All right, then, Michelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. In your report, you indicated that Crystal was living in a tent. How was she contacting you?
She did have a phone, off and on up till, the last time I spoke with her was at the 1st of December, and she did not have a phone at that time. She was talking to me from a phone at the library, but up till then, she did have a phone.
Okay. And in your report, you indicated that she said that she had gone to detox. Has she presented any proof since you've written the report?
No, she has not. I've had no contact with her. When she contacted me at the 1st of December, she had stated that I would need to contact her by email and she would respond to me, and she has not responded to my email since then.
Are there any relatives that could get in touch with her?
They have not had contact with her either. They've been asking me daily if she's called me also, and they have not heard from her since then either.
Okay, pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Nowak, for
Yes,
you, for the two dads that you're here for today.
first of all, with Mr. Vahio, has he completed any services?
No, he has not. We ran an accurate search and a diligent search, and it didn't bring up any new information to be able to locate him. So I do not know of any services that he has worked.
And I believe, Michelle, that's the client that Bill, that's the problem that Bill was having with this particular
Yes.
client, just zero contact. Switching over to Mr. Bolanos.
Yes.
Would you agree with me that he's a non-offending parent?
Yes,
He was incarcerated at the time of the incident, correct?
that is correct.
And did you send him a workbook to stuff he could start working on while he's incarcerated?
Yes.
Okay. Has he completed any of that?
Only thing I've gotten back from Mr. Bolanos is his family plans. When I have sent them, he has signed them and sent them back to me, but that's the only communication I've had with him. We tried to go into the prison to see him. We had a courtesy worker, but his unit will not allow us to do face-to-face or phone calls. It's only attorneys.
Gotcha. And your understanding that his release date is March 11th of 2024, correct?
Well, I have that his parole hearing or his parole review was in March of 24. I could be wrong on that. I could have got the dates wrong, but that it was denied in October of 23.
I think it was denied in October, but what I'm showing from the unit from TDCJ as that projected release date is March 11th of 24. And if that happens, that's a good thing. He gets out of prison, correct?
Yes.
The problem is that's 1 month past the final trial. You understand that, correct?
Yes.
Is there anything that Jorge could have done in prison that he has not done in terms of plan of service?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know what services he could have worked while he was there.
And the reason I'm asking that, Michelle, is come February 20th of 2024, I'm going to ask the judge for an extra 6 months because my guy's going to get out of prison within less than a month from there. And that was just to let the court know, not a question, Michelle. Judge, thank you so much. I pass the witness.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Morales?
Yes, Ms. Lego, have you had contact with Mr. Candelaria?
The last time I had contact with him was in August, and I've not had contact with him since then. I have sent a couple of letters to him. I've sent a service plan to him, and I've not received anything back.
Okay. And when you sent that to him, was he incarcerated in a prison in New Mexico?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware if he's still incarcerated in New Mexico?
Yes, I did check today before the hearing to see if he was still there, and he is still there.
Okay. I'll pass witness.
All right, Ms. Ball.
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Okay, and does anybody else have any other questions for Ms. Slagle? Okay. All right then, Ms. Zavala, you have a recommendation today?
Yes, Your Honor. I got to talk with the girls and see Randall for just a smidge. They are doing wonderful in this placement. It is a family placement, and they have a big extended family that they have contact with by being there. Doing well in school. Placement is on top of everything that they need. They're settled, they're thriving. And I do recommend that placement continue as being in their best interest.
All right, thank you. All right, today then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I will continue the children's placement. And our next hearing is set as the final, which is on February 20th of 2024. That's on a 9 o'clock docket. Mr. Nowak, we'll take a look at that situation. It would be obviously be very helpful if we could verify whether that's really going to be a release date.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Bolanos, since we have you on the phone, do you know, is that your release date?
That is my projected release date. And yes, last year in October, I had my my parole hearing, and I was denied. But this is my my review for my short wait, which is like half my time is already done, is served, and I'm under review for my projected release date, which is in March. And if right now I should have an answer by the 29th of December next week, and if it's going to be a yes or a no.
Okay, so your attorney will be in contact with you because that'll be really important for us to know come February.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And if you're released in March, Mr. Bolanos, where are you gonna live?
I will be living in the Dumas area, Dumas, Texas area. It's well, I could say it's my hometown where before I got incarcerated and before I got taken away from my girls, that's where we were living.
Okay. All right, sir. Okay, well, I will see everybody back February 20th, and we'll make a decision at that point in time whether there's a basis for an extension in the case.
Status hearing.
All right, thank you all very much. Conducting this through Zoom.
Thank you.
We're live streaming, and Ms. Taylor's making our record this morning. All right, we're going to take announcements.
Melinda Powell for the department and the St. Francis Permanency Specialist today, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name, is Nerdy Ingrani.
Yes, ma'am. Angraini. Yes.
Jay Michelson on behalf of the mother. I was just appointed yesterday, and so I've not had an opportunity to try and contact her. I understand that she has not had much contact with the department.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of Xander.
All right, and Mr. Michelson, thank you. I'm sorry you had that was short notice for you, but she did at least present the paperwork for us to appoint. So anyway, we'll get an update from Nerdy.
Yes, Your Honor. I actually just met face to face for the first time with Jessica yesterday at around 1:30 p.m. And she told me that she wants her baby Xander back. And she signed the family plan. I explained about the service plan, and she signed for the form to get an attorney. And then she wanted to log in today. I don't know why she was not here, but she told me that she would like to attend court today. And that's the only update that I have. She hasn't done any drug screen or any services at the moment, but we will work from here. Yeah.
Okay. Will she be assigned a parent support worker?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What do we know about her housing and transportation situation?
She told me that she just got a new apartment yesterday. It's like a 1-bedroom apartment. She said she just moved in 2 weeks ago, and she had a job as a cleaning service with a friend. So she cleaned houses. That's what she told me yesterday. And she couldn't prove with the check stub. She did not have any check stub because she was paid under the table. So she couldn't prove how much. But she said she paid her apartment using her money that she got from cleaning some houses.
And that's what she reported on her application for an attorney as well. So
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Miss Angrani, you stated she did sign her service plan yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, and will you get that filed?
I did yesterday. I don't know if you already
Okay.
got it. Yeah, I did yesterday.
Okay, good
Yeah,
deal.
it was signed yesterday on the 20th.
All right, then Mr. Michelson, anything to report or any questions?
Nothing to report, Your Honor. I would ask if Ms. Angriani could provide me with a contact number after court.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
Nerti, back in November, you had let me know that you had talked with Sharon, the grandmother, and that
Yes.
she was unable to be placement.
Yes.
I think at that time, there was also discussion of 4 other siblings who are also unable to be placement.
Yes.
Has anything changed in that regard?
I have actually spoken to Jessica's biological dad, Scott Rib, and he convinced me that he has been raising 5 children, and he wanted to take the baby and placement, but he was kind of hesitating because of his age, and he said, I've been raising 5 children, and it's time for me to relax. And but he did not mind supporting Jessica Rib, like financially, or if anything that Jessica really like for him to help, he would. That's what he told me.
Okay, so at this time, we're not requesting a home study on anybody.
No, not yet.
Okay.
I have not get an exact answer from anybody. That's why.
But it sounds like you've reached out and spoken to a lot of the family.
Yes.
Okay.
And also had a visitation from Grandma Sharon, and baby Xander has a sibling, 9-year-old, that was living with grandmother Sharon, and that's how I been arranging visits with the grandma and Xander, baby Xander, and the sibling.
Okay, but Sharon is continuing to say that she's unable to be placement. She's just facilitating the visitation.
Yes, okay. She wanted to visit and take the sibling to get to know the baby.
I have no further questions, Sharon.
Okay. All right, and you have a recommendation today, Ms. Zavala?
Yes, Your Honor. I got to meet Xander. He's precious. He is gaining weight. Placement is all over his medical needs, making sure he gets to every doctor's appointment. He's doing well, and seems to be thriving in that placement. I recommend that placement absolutely continue, and as being in his best interest.
All right, thank you. Okay, then I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I'll continue the child's placement. I'm going to order the service plans as an order of the court. And our next hearing will be April 23rd of 2024. And that will be on a 9 o'clock docket. Today for our status hearing, we are conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming, and Ms. Taylor is making our record this morning. We'll go ahead and take announcements.
Melinda Powell for the department. The St. Francis Permanency Specialist today is Cayenne Williams.
Dave Michelson on behalf of the father, Alan Riley. He is not present. He has the link to be present if he desires to be.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm on the phone with Ms. Riley trying to figure out what's going on. I'm present. She's attempting to log in, Judge, and having difficulties.
Okay. Do you want to just put her on speakerphone with you?
Sure, I'll try that. Kaylin, can you? I'm going to turn this way up. You just okay? You're on speakerphone here at the office. I've got the Zoom open, so you're just going to participate by speakerphone here, okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, she's here, Judge.
Okay.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the kids.
All right, then, Ms. Williams, what do we have new regarding service plans?
Kaylin has signed her service plan. I believe that's the one I e-filed. Alan has not signed his. He doesn't agree with the target date on it, and he doesn't want to submit hair follicle drug tests. but other than that, they've both agreed to work the rest of the services.
So Ms. Williams, you have reviewed the service plan with Mr. Riley?
Yes.
But he has refused to sign that?
Yes.
Is there a way that you can notate that on the signature page and file that for the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Either that or send it to Mr. Well, go ahead and send it to Mr. Michelson also, so he can review it and see if there needs to be something, a discussion to get Mr. Riley to sign it. But otherwise, please notate that he refused to sign it.
And Ms. Williams, so his issues with it was he didn't want to do, in particular, hair drug testing?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he object to UA drug testing?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And what was the other thing you said?
The target date on the, like, for completion of services, which we just use the dismissal date for the case. And
okay.
I explained to him that he doesn't have to drag them out until that target date. He can complete services however quickly he wants to.
All right. Are they having visits?
Yes, virtual visits.
Okay. And y'all give me just 2 seconds.
Morning.
All right, virtual visits. Where are the children placed?
They're in a foster home in Beaumont, Texas, outside of Houston.
Okay. Have parents cooperated in giving names of any relatives?
Alan has not mentioned any relatives or friends. Kaylin's parents would like to be placement in Colorado. So we're working on that, but Kaylin does live with them. So we didn't know really direction on how that would work, but I am submitting the ICPC paperwork tomorrow.
And Judge St. Francis is asking for hair follicles for both mom and dad. Ms. Williams, do you have a way to, do you have a facility in Colorado that mother can go to?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, anything else from St. Francis?
No, ma'am. The kids are doing really great.
All right, Mr. Hill.
Judge, Ms. Riley, as of a couple weeks ago, had indicated to me that she didn't want to sign the service plan, that she didn't agree with language in it, some other things. She has since signed it, had a much different conversation with her this morning than I did a couple weeks ago, much more compliant. I believe she really wants to, work these services, do what she needs to do, and get her kids back.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Michelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Kayan, we spoke, was it yesterday, about the issues that Alan had? Maybe it was the day before yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, and you confirmed with me that his issues were the target date and the manner of substance abuse testing, the hair follicle test.
Yes.
Did he indicate to you that he was willing to take any other means of drug testing?
He, not directly, but he's agreed to submit drug tests whenever I've sent him, but has never actually gone to do that.
Okay. And have his visits with the child been appropriate?
As far as I'm aware. I think he also has only attended about half of the ones that have been scheduled.
Okay.
He is logging in right now, Mr. Michelson.
What's that?
He's logging in right now.
Could I speak with him in the breakout room?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Riley, we're part way through your hearing. Mr. Michelson, your attorney wants to visit with you privately for a minute. I'm going to put you in what we call a breakout room. You're going to get a little prompt here in just a minute, and you can just say join. And then you can speak with him, and then we'll continue with the hearing when you all come back.
I was just going to say I need to leave by like 11:20, so I didn't know if we wanted to go ahead and do the 10 o'clock one and then come back to this one.
I'm good with that.
However, I know Daniel got into town in Mississippi super early this morning, so we could.
Mr. Hill, are you good with just standing by for a couple minutes?
Yes, Judge, I'm in my office working and doing these, so whatever you need.
Okay, all right. That would be very helpful if we could try to knock another one out real quick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're looking for wasn't it Miss Asante on that one?
It's Mavis, yes, ma'am.
We are here set for our status hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom and we are live streaming and Ms. Taylor's making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Melinda Powell for the department. The St. Francis Permanency Specialist today is Mavis Opoku Asante.
Your Honor, I'm Janice Alexander Cross. I'm here on behalf of Joseph Ray. He is represented by Mr. Cody Pirtle. I am subbing in today for Cody Pirtle.
Okay, and I don't have Miss Sapien in the waiting room. I don't know whether you all got a signature from her or.
I did not, Judge.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Cradaville is present. And Ms. Zavala, did you announce?
No, Stacy Zavala for Leland.
All right, then, Ms. Opoku Asante, what do we have new?
Okay, so the service plan was signed by both Alisa and Joseph. Joseph is still in jail, so he's not started any services. Alisa decided to go to Serenity on the 6th and then return on that same day. So she's not started her services yet. She's not seen the baby yet because she's tested positive 3 times for meth and she's not seen the baby. She's not had any visitation yet with the baby, but the baby is doing very well. Everything is fine with him.
Mavis, when did the father sign the service plan?
He signed on was Tuesday. Let me check Tuesday. On the 19th.
Okay, and has that service plan been filed?
Yes, I sent it out
one.
on the 19th. Yes.
All right, anything else then?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right, and Ms. Cradaville, do you have any questions or today, anything you want to talk about today?
No.
All right, are you gonna try to go back to drug treatment?
Yes.
What's your plan?
Rehab. I'm gonna go to rehab and complete it.
Where are you gonna go?
I'm gonna try Senate.
Okay. Well, the sooner you get started with that, the better.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and Ms. Cross?
Mr. Ray is still incarcerated, Your Honor. He disputes the domestic violence and plans on taking that case to trial. He does want to get out. He wants to work his services. He is definitely opposed to losing parental rights to Leland, and he is hopeful that he will be able to get out, work his services, and begin to take good care of his son.
Okay. All right. Thank you for filling in for Mr. Pirtle. Appreciate it. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. All right, and Ms. Zavala.
Quick question, Mavis. I understand that Leland's having some visits with with maternal grandma and uncle. Is that right?
Maternal great grandmother.
Okay, so mom's grandmother. Okay.
No, dad's great grandmother. It's dad's grandmother.
So paternal, not maternal.
Paternal. Okay. Okay. Has there been a home study submitted for anybody?
No, Joseph gave me a name. I'm yet to call the lady and see if she would agree to it.
Okay, so neither this great grandma or an uncle that are visiting, they're at this time, they can't do placement or are not seeking placement?
They are seeking placement, but Joseph lives at the backyard of the grandmother's house. So we thought that wouldn't be a good placement for the baby.
Okay, so far there's been no home studies submitted.
No.
Okay, I have no further questions.
All right, do you have a recommendation, Ms. Abala?
Yes, Your Honor. Leland's doing great in placement. Just turned 2 months old. All the medical is being taken care of. I've got no concerns about that placement and do recommend that continue.
Okay. All right, Ms. Carterville, let me talk to you about your service plan real quickly. Those services are critically important to your success in this case. And beyond that, they're important because if you don't work your services, the child may not go home. And worst case scenario, it can mean termination of your parental rights. So you understand those things?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I suggest you get to Syncor as soon as you can and get started.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator. I'll continue placement and order the service plans as an order of the court. I find there's a continuing and ongoing danger to the child to return the child home today, and that the department is using reasonable efforts to reunify the family. Our next hearing will be April 23rd of 2024, and that'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. All right, then, let's see, we were kind of, Ms. Taylor, I don't know, can you help me out? I'm trying to remember kind of where we were at.
I'm not Miss Taylor, but Judge Mr. Michelson was asking Miss Williams about they had a discussion and Dad wasn't about the issues Dad had with the service plan.
Okay.
Yeah, they were about hair follicle, no, but other drug tests, yes.
All right, Mr. Michelson, you've had an opportunity now to visit with Mr. Riley. Do we still have any questions or issues about the service plan?
I think the target date, I think Mr. Riley understands. He still has an issue about the hair follicle test. He indicated to me he's willing to do a blood test. He's willing to do a UA test, but in his opinion, he doesn't consider the other tests reliable. The other issue that he has is his children are in the Houston-Beaumont area, and he would like the children to be closer in a foster care home in Amarillo, if possible. And Kayanne indicated that was the goal, but she was uncertain about how that process, how often they check with foster homes in the area.
Yeah, you know, it's Mr. Riley, I'll just tell you, and Mr. Hill's client too, since we've got her on the phone, but you know, we always try to find placement in region with children. It's just, unfortunately, we do not have enough foster homes in this area. And that's why we sometimes have to place kids as far away as we do. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't keep looking, you know, although every time we move kiddos, it's sort of hard on them, you know. Yeah. So when we make a move, we want to be sure we're really doing it for all the right reasons. Okay. So if there are family or if there's some, you know, close family friends, you know, I mean, think hard about who you all know that might be willing to be, you know, to temporarily take care of the children. And if there are names, you know, please give them to Ms. Williams so that we can take a look at that. The ICPC on mom's parents in Colorado could take 6 months, 9 months, you know, so that is not something that's going to happen in a hurry. So if we've got family, close friends, somebody that's in this area that, you know, we could take a look at, we're willing to do that and run our checks on. Okay. All right. Now, regarding the the drug testing, Mr. Riley, there's a reason why we use UAs and there's a reason why we use hair testing. And that is because they tell us different things. They give us different information. Both can be positive, both can be negative. But, a UA tells us sort of what's going on in the here and now. And that hair test tells us what's happened over the course of, say, the last 90 days. So at the beginning of virtually every case that we have, we want to at least get a baseline, a UA and hair, because it tells us, are you actively using and or have you been using in the last 90 days? And then, generally speaking, the department doesn't do those but every 3 months. And there would be no reason to do another hair test if all your UAs stay negative, quite frankly. So, I'm going to order both of you to do the hair and the UAs, at least, so we can get these initial screens done. And then if they stay negative, the UAs stay negative, then I don't have any reason to want another hair on you.
And when you say both of us, you're talking about Kaylin, correct?
Yes, both parents. Yes. Yeah. So, that's going to be part of this order today. So before I announce everything else, then does anybody else have anything they want to add today
About this particular issue, or?
No, well, anything.
Like my recommendation in the okay, I'm sorry.
Sure.
So I attempted to Zoom with the kids so that I could see them. We had a lot of technical issues. And so we ended up, I got to see them on the screen for a short bit, and then I got to talk to them on the phone. It was not the best format. I have no reason to believe that Cayenne and placement are not all over this, but I just want to make sure it's on everybody's radar screen that we keep looking at. I know placement, I think, is taking kids to an audiologist and evaluating speech. I know Adeline specifically may need to be looked at for autism. I just want to make sure those things are going on, and I have no reason to believe that they're not. I believe those appointments have been scheduled. I just want to keep it on everybody's radar screen to make sure that that's being done. But I do believe at this time, the placement is safe and appropriate. I've got no objection to bringing them in region if we can find a place to do that. Generally, that's a bit easier on everybody, but I've got no specific complaints or issues with the placement that they're in right now.
Okay. So what we will do is, I'll just ask Ms. Williams, to try and continue to search for placement for the children, particularly because of their ages, that's closer, to us. So all we can do is just keep our eyes open.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then. So for parents, let me just talk with you about your service plans. I'm going to make those in order of the court today, and I will expect you to work your services. You need to know right up front that failure to work those services could mean the child or children don't come home, and it could mean termination of your parental rights. So the services are very important, and you need to work them. It's just that simple. Okay, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I will continue the children's current placement. We'll keep looking to try to get them moved closer. Ordering the service plans is an order of the court. I find there would be a continuing and ongoing danger to the children to return them home today. I also find the department's using reasonable efforts to try to reunify the family. And we will have our next hearing April 23rd, 2024, and that'll be on a 9 o'clock docket.
Judge, when do you want the drug screens done by?
Let's say by, I don't know how difficult it's going to be as far as setting it up in Colorado. We'd like to have moms done, let's say by, 4 o'clock tomorrow. And Mr. Riley, you live here, correct?
Here in Amarillo, Texas, yes.
Yeah. So I'd like to have yours done by 4 o'clock today. So, Ms. Williams can direct you and tell you where you need to go and all that. Okay.
Can I say one thing real quick? Concerning Adeline's autism, I did have her tested twice. Once maybe 6 months ago, with a specialist in Lubbock, Texas, and I do have those results. And then again, they actually did a test when she was in the womb because they had some concerns during the pregnancy, and it again came up negative. If they want that information, I could send that to them.
Absolutely, if you'll get it to Ms. Williams and or to your attorney, either way.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be very helpful. All right, thank you all very much. Appreciate everybody, and I'll see you back then April 23rd. Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we are here today on our status hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming, and Ms. Taylor is making our record this morning. All right, we'll go ahead and take everybody's announcements.
Melinda Powell for the Department of the St. Francis Permanency Specialist today is Mickey Lee.
Vince Nowak on behalf of Duncan Kirkpatrick. And Judge, I don't see him on the screen. If you're on the screen, wave Duncan. I don't see him. He might be logged in under Terry.
He's here.
Hi, Duncan. Sorry, my bad, Judge. We are here and we're ready. Thank you so much.
Stacy Grant on behalf of the mother, Lorna Kirkpatrick. My client's present. We're ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Crew and Duncan, who goes by Cope.
All right, thank you. Okay, what do we have new since the court report was filed?
So Crew and Cope both have double ear infections and strep throat last week. They were getting treated for that. Mom, on the family plan of service, it lists mom living with her mother, which is inaccurate. She actually has her own apartment. She's an assistant manager at Schlotsky's. She's going to Dr. I cannot say the name. Dr. Suboxone for her addiction, and she has AA meetings that she goes to pretty much at least twice a week. And she's the assistant manager at Schlotsky's. She's also going to get a second job at Johnson's Control. And that'll be a second job starting January 16th. Father has completed inpatient through Dovetree Rehab. He is now in the sober living side of things. He completed a UA, which was negative. So we have started inpatient in-person visits starting Friday. Mom's got a drug screen that she is pending that she's got sent to her. Both parents haven't signed their family plan of service yet, but they do have a copy of it. And mom was explained that any of the services that say Amarillo that we could find equivalent in Oklahoma could be substituted for.
So Mickey, you have discussed the service plans with parents?
Yes.
Okay, they just haven't signed.
Yes.
Did they indicate why they haven't signed, or were you just not in person? What's the circumstances?
Yes. I sent Dad his via email, and he just hasn't sent it back yet. Mom was worried about her service plan saying she lived with her mom and some of the services in Amarillo. She wanted to wait to sign.
Okay, can you get those? Can you get that amended and send her an amended plan to sign, and then get that filed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that may be the best option for that.
Okay, and so before we called the case, there was a little off the record discussion, but a home study has been initiated on
maternal grandmother. She moved from Oklahoma to Texas. We've put in a home study. Maternal grandmother has bought everything she needed for both children, and we are just pending that home study to be read and reviewed by the higher ups at our company.
Okay. All right, and if that is approved, then is it the intention then to get the kids moved with her right away?
Yes, if it is approved, yes.
All right, both parents are in agreement with that?
I don't believe so.
Okay, well, we'll get to that then. Anything else from St. Francis?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Okay. All right then, Ms. Grant.
Not much to add, Judge. The information we were going to provide pretty much is she has moved to Amarillo. She's obtained a 2-bedroom apartment. She's transferred her job here with Dillard's in order to get these kiddos with family versus current placement. And mother is stayed in Oklahoma, obviously, so they aren't residing together. And we are agreeable to the service plan being an order of the court today based on the announced amendments, Your Honor, and we'll get that signed and returned to the court. But we don't have an issue, obviously, signing it with those minor changes.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, Mr. Novak.
Thank you so much, Judge. Ms. Lane, as far as you know, Duncan, the dad, is testing clean, correct?
Yes.
He's completed a inpatient rehab, correct?
Yes.
He's now living in sober living, correct?
Yes.
He's doing very well, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Mickey, I might have missed it, but I didn't see the proposed plan of service. Could you email that to me when we're finished?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Do you feel that Duncan Kirkpatrick, the dad, is on track to reunification?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lane. Judge, that's all I have.
Mr. Novak, is your client agreeable to the children being placed with maternal grandmother if that home study passes?
Duncan, do you want to have a breakout room and talk to me?
Yes, please.
Would that, I know we're kind of running late, not too much. Could I get 2 minutes with Duncan, Judge?
Sure.
Thank you. And we're ready whenever the court is.
Okay. All right, so back to my question, Mr. Novak.
Yeah, we do have an issue with Tanya, who I believe is Lorna's mom, and Duncan, correct me if I say anything wrong, having custody of the kids or placement of the kids. And I'm more than happy to have Duncan explain why we object to that, Judge.
Okay, and I don't, in all likelihood, what's going to happen here is that if we get an approved time study, then we're going to have a full-blown hearing on placement. So you can tell me very briefly, Mr. Kirkpatrick, but I don't need a whole lot of detail because it's probably going to be a whole separate hearing.
Keep it small, Duncan.
Yes, sir. I just think it is going to not be in the kid's best interest to be placed with her. I personally would rather have them stay where they're at as opposed to going with her at this time. Tanya has a 13-year-old back in Oklahoma that she's left there. It's missing a lot of school. At one point in time, Lorna and I were taking care of this daughter and was asked to adopt her because Tanya, quote, was done being a mother. I would just prefer if they stayed with where they're at as opposed to being placed. I think my father's a way better option if a home study could be done on him. Crew's been there his whole life, and my 6-year-old has been there 5 years of his life, and he also has everything and was a great home study before we got to St. Francis, and that's all I have.
Okay, well, have the paternal grandparents asked for a home study, Ms. Lane?
Yes, they have. Investigations, during the investigation stage, the children were removed.
Right.
So that's kind of hindered us being able to move forward.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll, Your Honor, if the home study comes back, we'll obviously file a motion for placement review and, go forward at that time. Obviously, we object to going back to the paternal grandparents because they've already violated under a simple safety plan and gotten the children removed from them. And so we would obviously be wanting to go forward. The maternal grandmother is not going to have either parent living in the home, and that was the previous issue with the paternal grandparents. So we would obviously want a full hearing and a review on that. It's always in the best interest of children to be with family, not left in foster placement. And so we adamantly disagree with that being the best interest of the children.
All right, so what we'll do is when that home study is, whatever the result of that is, if it's approved, then someone just needs to let Miss Katie know so that we can schedule a hearing as quickly as possible.
Your Honor, could I say one more thing real quickly?
Will do, Judge.
Yes, sir.
with them being removed because I violated and went around them, I'm in a sober living facility in another town where I have an 11 o'clock curfew, getting tested multiple times a week, have no car to go to Emerald, so there would be no real risk of me returning to that again and violating the court's order to not be around the children at this time.
I understand that, but it's just there were.
I got you.
I know what was alleged at the time of removal, so, we're just gonna have to, we'll just take it all up in a different hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Not, I've got other things on the docket today, and it's not something that we had slated for today. So, and we don't even know that it's gonna be approved yet, so.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no point in going into all this until we have an issue. So.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, then, Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, the kids are doing great at placement. Cope's the first one to participate in every activity. He got to do his Christmas, singing program and playing all the Christmas games and arts and crafts, and they're doing really well. I hopefully should be seeing them in person either tomorrow or Saturday. But they are doing well where they are. And at this time, until we've got further information, I do recommend that placement continue.
Okay. All right, then, for parents' benefit, this is our status hearing, and so I'm required to tell you some things. Your service plans are very, very important, a very, very important part of this case, and failure to work those services could mean the children don't come home to either one of you or both of you. In worst case scenario, it can mean termination of your parental rights. So it's very important that you all work those, that you get these things done, and, the sooner the better, obviously, for your children. So just understand that I'm making those in order of the court today, and it's like any other court order. I expect you to abide by it. Everybody understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue the children's current placements. If the home study is approved, we'll have a placement hearing before the children are moved anywhere. So, Ms. Lane, we don't move until we have that hearing. As stated, I'm ordering the service plans as an order of the court. I do find it would be a continuing and ongoing danger to the children to return them to either home of the parents at this time, and that the department is using reasonable efforts to reunify the family. So let's just all head the same direction. Okay, our next hearing date is April 16th on a 9 o'clock dot. Conducting this through Zoom, we're live streaming. Ms. Taylor's making our record. All right, we'll take announcements.
Melinda Powell for the department. The St. Francis Permanency Specialist today is Marissa Herrera.
General for the mother, Justine, I'm sorry, I forgot her last name. She is not present today, but I am present ready.
Stacy Brown on behalf of the father, Kendrick Ford, and my client's still incarcerated, Your Honor, but complying to the best of his ability during incarceration.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the child.
Okay, what do we have new?
Kinsley's placed in a foster home in Canadian with her older brother, and she's doing really well, hitting milestones. There's no concerns for her development at this time, and they're also maintaining sibling bonds with the older siblings of Miss Dustman. I've found that Kendrick Ford is now in Bastrop, so I'll be sending packets to him. When I received the case, I was told he was in Oklahoma, so I sent packets that way. So I'll be sending him packets to Bastrop now, and I'm not able to get in contact with Miss Dustman since receiving the case in November.
And was he in a federal facility?
When I looked it up, it's a transfer unit, so that could be why he was in Oklahoma and now he's in Bastrop.
That's correct, Judge.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Naranjo, anything?
I haven't had any contact with Miss Dustman since August. I've been working with Miss Ferreira trying to get a hold of her, but she hasn't responded to any of our phone calls or emails.
Okay. All right, Ms. Grant.
I think everything as updated by the caseworker is correct as to my records, Your Honor. Again, Kendrick is participating to the extent that he can during incarceration, but I do not expect him to be released by the end of this case at this point, but I will keep the court updated. As she stated, that they're kind of playing musical chairs with him on us, and so that's also kind of a complication.
Right. I'm trying to remember. Do we know how long he's supposed to be there?
Judge, the report says 11 years.
That's, yes, Judge.
All right. Okay. All right, Ms. Vala.
Your Honor, Kinsley is in a wonderful home. This is a home that's adopted her older sibling. They've gotten to do an early Christmas with a bio aunt who also has 2 older siblings in her care. So there's a lot of family connection there. It is my recommendation that that placement continue.
Okay. I'm going to continue the department as temporary managing conservator. I'm going to continue placement and find that would be a continuing and ongoing danger to the child to be returned to either parent at this time, and a practical impossibility since we don't know where mother is and father's in a federal prison. Find the department's using reasonable efforts to reunify the family, for what good that can do at this point. I'm going to go ahead and set the case for an early final. That'll be April 16th on a 9 o'clock docket. Ms. Grant, I understand, your client's situation, but the reality is he's going to probably be there for a very long time. This is an infant. Infant's placed with a sibling. We've got, a good placement that is willing to be long-term placement. So I think, for permanency of the child, I've got to look at that. So
yes, I had a request in to speak with him where he was. And so I will start over on my request for a phone consultation with him and see if there's some resolution in his mind other than waiting until April.
okay, I appreciate it. I know in federals, it's, sometimes very difficult.
I recently had someone in Clements and it was a dream come true to be able to have access to my client, but I just don't have that in this case.
I understand. Okay, then, I'll see everybody back April 16th. Ms. Lawrence, we've had no further contact with Mr. Hernandez. Is that correct?
That is correct. I received a text from him at about 10:30 asking for the link, and I did send that to him. So I don't know if he's around for that.
All right, he is not logged in, and Mr. Hill was just appointed to represent him. And I would, at the conclusion of this, if you and Mr. Hill could go in a breakout room and you can give Mr. Hill what contact information you have.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's in Mexico, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, here for our initial permanency hearing. And we are conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming and Ms. Taylor's making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Melinda Powell for the department. The St. Francis Permanency Specialist today is Abigail Lawrence.
Jay Michelson on behalf of Luz Medellin. She is present and we are ready.
Jeff Hill on behalf of Lorenzo Hernandez. Judge, as you mentioned, I was just appointed today. I have not had any opportunity to contact him. I will attempt to contact him after the hearing today when I've received contact information.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Aurelio.
All right, then, Ms. Lawrence, what do we have new since the court report was filed?
Judge, before she gives her report, as a housekeeping matter, paternity testing did come back. Mr. Castro is not the father of this child. As such, we are asking that he be dismissed from the suit today.
All right, and let's see. I don't remember if I've already signed an order on that or not.
You have not. It was,
okay.
I saw that it wasn't filed too terribly long ago, and Kiln put it in this order for him to be dismissed.
Okay. Very good. Okay. All right then, Ms. Lawrence.
So as far as Aurelio is concerned, he's doing very well, meeting all milestones, growth is on target. Yesterday he did go to the doctor, and he has bronchitis. But you know, they said that they caught it early enough. So they gave him some antibiotics, some nebulizer treatments, and he should be feeling better soon. He has a great relationship with the foster family that he's with in Plainview, and they also have a great relationship with mom. They have told her, you know, numerous times they want to be a support for her. They can let her know, you know, if she needs anything. I know this is her first child, and I'm sure that she really appreciates just having somebody who supports her the way that they do. As far as mom, also nothing but good things to say. She has really worked hard to complete her services. I've never had an issue with her staying in contact with me. So she has completed all of her services. The only thing that I'm waiting on confirmation is her parenting classes with Padre. But I also know that her mentor has had some really troubling times here recently. So I have no doubt he'll get that to me, so we can have that. Mom has, like I said, just done everything that we've asked. We went over a relapse plan together on November 21st. And we started a reunification plan and schedule. So starting 11/20, her visits were increased to 4 hours a week. And then 12/19 was her first unsupervised visit. And then today is her second unsupervised visit. So she's just working those steps. She has a weekend visit from the 23rd to the 26th. So she'll get to spend Christmas with Aurelio. And I know she's super stoked about getting him his first Christmas. And then we're hoping to do placement back on the 29th. So, and then as far as Lorenzo is concerned, like I said, I haven't been able to contact him since October. I'm only able to text and email him. I can answer his calls, but I can't make that call. And so I've just had no communication or update on services. I'm not able to send him to drug screen because I have requested his address and I haven't got that. So also no visitation is occurring at this time for him as well.
Ms. Lawrence, when did you say that you're anticipating placement if everything continues to go well?
12/29.
Thank you.
Okay, sounds great. All right. First of all, Ms. Medellin, congratulations. You've worked very, very hard. I'm really proud of what you've done, and I can't think of a better Christmas present than for you to get Aurelio back in the home. So it's wonderful news. So just keep up the really good work, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Michelson, anything today?
No questions. I think based on the positive report from the permanency report and Ms. Lawrence's testimony and the reunification plan.
Okay, Mr. Hill, I know you're very new into the case, so.
Yep, nothing to report, Judge.
Okay, we'll try to get some information to you here in a few minutes. All right, and Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, I'm excited that we're getting to head into reunification. I do think that that's in his best interest based on all the hard work mom's put in. I did want to let Luce know that I'll be contacting her to come visit him in the home. And I'm looking forward to meeting her in person.
All right. Okay, well, sounds like everybody's on the same page, and nobody needs anything from me other than to just say continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue current placement. I approve the reunification plan and just wish Mom and little Aurelio a very, very Merry Christmas. And I will see you back in April, possibly. If things go really well, Ms. Medellin, you know, we may wrap this up before that. Okay. So My hope is that everything will continue to go great, so. Okay, then I will see y'all back then, and I'll sign this order is just gonna dismiss Mr. Castro. It's not gonna be a separate order.
That's correct, Judge. We'll just
Okay.
dismiss him in this order.
Okay, all right, so we'll also dismiss him from the case then. Okay, thank y'all very much. Mr. Hill, thank you for jumping in with very little notice. The last case we have on the docket this morning, my understanding is agreed.
That's
So,
correct.
I think everybody's free to go. Ms. Powell, congratulations on your good news today. So go enjoy the ceremony.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Judge.